morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? Are you awake? Lovely. Well, there'll be no PowerPoint. There'll be a conversation and a story. And I hope from the story we will learn. Now, I'm not going to stand and talk in front of this lectern because it's going to traumatize me. And I'll tell you why. A couple of years ago, I got invited to speak in Japan at a leadership conference. So the conference was an 80-20 audience. So 80% were Japanese and 20% were multinationals. So they requested me to have an interpreter. You know, coming from a country where there's a lot of interpretation in churches, it was not an issue. I would have this interpreter. So what I do usually when I go to a different country, I learn a bit about the country's etiquette, how to greet, how to look for directions, and how to chat up the local girls. It's quite important. So I learned in Japan, when you greet, you bow and you say konnichiwa. So I got my laptop in here, and I had my interpreter on my right here. And before I started my speech, I bowed and said konnichiwa. And these Japanese people were absolutely amazed. Oh, this one, very good, knows how to greet. And they started clapping hands. And being a South African who's full of passion and love, I wanted to give them the love back, and I bowed for the second time, and something amazing happened. They stood up and gave me a standing ovation. But I had not yet started speaking. So I asked my interpreter that this is very cool, a standing ovation before I speak? And his answer was, Selekane-san, this is Japan, we like very short speeches. So it meant when I bowed for the first time, I was opening my speech, and when I bowed for the second time, I was closing my speech. Well, my topic is quite simple. It talks about leading in times of disruption. Now, all of you as HR practitioners and leaders, we all knew that there was this one constant thing that we used to talk about, change. We used to say the only constant is change. And to deal with change was quite simple. There were a lot of change matrix, and the most famous was the change cycle. You know, when change happens, people deny this change, and when the change becomes too strong, they reject the change, which is the future, which is the present, what they know, and then they explore when they realize that change that is coming, they cannot stop, and eventually they move to the fourth quadrant, which was committing to the change. Now, unfortunately, change is no longer constant. We're speaking about disruption. So things are not changed anymore, they are being disrupted. The hotel industry is being disrupted by Airbnb. The taxi industry has been disrupted by Uber. The movie industry has been disrupted by Netflix. The media industry has been disrupted by Facebook. He dies in the group. His individuality or his sense of dies in the group. He decided to position himself differently by extracting himself from the group and showing up to this farmer and requesting a better opportunity to apply himself passionately and differently. So the fourth principle speaks about positioning. As a leader, how are you positioned? Now, positioning has to do with branding. And branding, it's a human experience. How do people feel you? What kind of experience do they have with you? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we don't buy things anymore. We don't sleep in a hotel because a hotel is a bed and a shower and an air conditioner. And that's it. But we go to certain hotels, we pay certain amounts of money because of the positioning that they've put on the hotel. And that positioning is driven by the experience, the human experience. Now, the question becomes, how positioned are you as a leader in the minds and the hearts of your people? What is your leadership positioning? Do they serve you out of fear, or do they serve you out of love? And people that serve leaders out of love, they are able to create much lasting organizations and make impact and profitable companies, not only in their own environment, but globally. So that's the fourth principle that we learn from this story. And the last principle, ladies and gentlemen, speaks about prosperity. Now, prosperity, as far as leadership is concerned, it doesn't say that as a leader you must drive a Lamborghini and your people can only afford to use a cab, and therefore you come and you flaunt your prosperity around your people so that you can elevate yourself up. Prosperity means if an organization is truly, truly geared and congruent to the hearts and minds of their people, now as HR practitioners or HR leaders, your responsibility is to welcome people in your organization, develop them through that journey, and make sure that when they exit, their lives are much more different than when they entered. So prosperity says, how many people will come to you 15, 20, 30 years from now and say, you don't even know my name, you probably cannot remember, but my life has never been the same ever since I met you, because you not only welcomed me, onboarded me properly in your organization, but you gave me a place and a moment for me to grow and expand. And today I am who I am, impacting the world because you, as a leader, lived. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the essence of leadership prosperity. That your prosperity and your success is not measured by the things that you have, by the size of your car, by the size of your house, but that your prosperity is measured by the number of people's life you have impacted positively, who in turn pay that prosperity or that impact forward, and you're able to leave a legacy that will outlive you and outlive your life.